A lot of people ask me, what's new in search? Why are there so many new search companies? Are we in the Renaissance? Obviously, the technology that's behind search and around search has been advancing in leaps and bounds. But the truth is, from the user perspective, the problems really haven't changed. In fact, in the last few years, the move to cloud has made it harder to find the information that we need. We spend more time and we have more browser tabs open than ever before. But there are some more subtle variations on this problem as well. One of those is, how do we link the valuable internal data we have to our customer opportunities, to sales opportunities? How do we get ROI on some of that information? Another variation is, how are we going to produce better research with busy people, shorter timelines? How are we going to harness tools like ChatGPT and the others that are going to follow it? Why does it take so many steps to get data for my machine learning models? You could say we're in the middle of the cloud era, we're overwhelmed with information, and yet we're still starved for insight. It seems to have come down to three things, as the cloud is blocking findability. One, there are more silos than ever, and it's really easy to make a new silo, right? If you take Elastic, it should take you 5 minutes to point that at a pile of JSON and turn that into a search engine. But that doesn't mean it's a good search application, it's just an index. Another reality is a lot of consolidation happened and we can no longer copy the most important silos of information. The files are mostly in M365 along with the messages and the calendar appointments. A lot of our social work content is there too, or in Slack. The CRM data is really in Salesforce for the most part, maybe spread across dozens of accounts. The knowledge bases and the help desk centers, they're all mostly consolidated to ServiceNow, et cetera, et cetera. Can't copy those things. We'd have to have the service in order to make sense of their data. And the last part is, as ChatGPT turns heads and reminds everyone of what's possible in the future when we master the unstructured information, the reality is we have very limited tools and access to skills inside the average enterprise to even answer questions about what I need to know. Where would I even go to find it? How would we automate question answering process when we're trying to talk to a prospect? Those are very, very deep questions, and they require a lot of expertise that may or may not be present. Metasearching, the idea of sending queries to the numerous silos that are now more numerous than ever, waiting for those engines to respond with all of the configuration and business logic that's been stacked into it over the years, wait for the responses, and use AI to re-rank the responses. And that turns out to be a game changer. Metasearch, in the era where almost everything has a search API, has a high-quality search interface, has some ability to provide data back to other services as long as you're querying on behalf of a user and not just trying to pull the data out and re-entitle it. It's a game changer. It delivers cross-silo search solutions in a fraction of the time and effort. You don't need to be an expert at search. It's just like, again, if you're working with most of the open source search engines, it's just JSON and it becomes something you can query. It can integrate results from anything, not just search engines. I've mentioned those, but databases like Google BigQuery or cloud applications like a research service, nlresearch.com, for example, or Google BigQuery. These all have APIs and they can all be searched, or meta-searched, I should say. Perhaps most importantly, if you've ever tried to build a cross-silo search solution by re-indexing the content and moving it to a new search engine, you realize that the problem of merging entitlements is actually much worse than merging schemas. But if you follow the meta-search path, you are searching always on behalf of some user. And if you integrate with a single sign-on environment, now you really are going with the grain of zero trust security, making sure that the users only see what they're authorized to see. And the last point, unless the evolution of the large language model, which is sort of one of the core parts of AI and what's technology ultimately that's a more advanced version of it is behind ChatGPT, Metasearch can use AI to re-rank the results and get high contextual relevancy, despite the fact that we're often dealing with short responses from many of the search engines.